Is a beautiful Friday afternoon or Friday morning, and I guess we'll take advantage of it today because the weekend doesn't look as cooperating. But it's really good to see everyone's face, even if it is across the phone or computer. We definitely miss our community, and I know I speak for all of the teachers and everybody at South Shore to say that we wish we could see you guys in person, but we're all in this together, literally. And so we're gonna try this and see how it goes. So today I have a couple of things I just want to talk about, briefly. Hopefully we have some good questions, and I have a couple updates for folks. And then hopefully we just have a conversation about this and get some feedback on how things are going, give you some information, what I have as far as what this all looks like moving forward. And also, just have a little bit of time to connect. I know we have a lot of teachers on here as well this morning. So if we need to pick the brains of some folks who are delivering this remote learning, we have them here as well. Nicole, thanks for hosting. She is keeping us on point over here with questions, and she's going to make sure that I don't spend too much time on one area. And to start this morning, like I would just not be, it'd be remiss not to mention, I think, what a lot of us saw last night in Minnesota, as far as the unrest and the continued killings by police of Black men. And, that has a lot of impact on Rainier Beach and where we serve and the community that we serve and who we are. And I just want to let everyone know that that's on our hearts. And I had a conversation with staff yesterday about that as well. And that is near and dear to our hearts, as community violence in Rainier Beach is definitely having an impact, even with all these other things we got to worry about right now. So just want to mention that and say that, that is something that we as a staff are talking about. And that's some of the work that we are absolutely taking on as far as our racial equity work and making sure that we acknowledge and are being honest with the families and students that we serve, that this is absolutely part of what makes this all so hard. So just want to make sure that I talked about that real quickly before we jumped into the things that have to do with South Shore. So one of the more exciting pieces that I'm excited to talk about is the vision and mission work that we're doing at South Shore. So for those of you that don't know, South Shore was started almost 20 years ago as the new school. It wasn't just a brand new school. It was South Shore Middle School, and then they revisioned it as a new school. And the vision of that school almost 20 years ago, and I'm just going to read it, says, "Together we create a loving community of purposeful learning that honors the whole child, body, mind, and spirit." The mission of that school, we view each child as a bright spirit on a magnificent journey in our quest to contribute powerfully to the healing of humanity and Mother Earth. So that's where, some great folks over, 15 to 20 years ago really put their heads together about, like, what do we do different? What could this new school be? What can we be about? And that's what our vision and mission has been for many years. And, I feel really excited to say we still hold a lot of that in the work that we do, whether it's the 3 minutes of silence that we do, at every meeting, whether it's the real focus on social emotional learning and ruler and making sure that we are able to identify our feelings and we have strategies on how to do this. We really hold a lot of those original sort of foundational pieces of the new school in South Shore to this day. But we also know that, like with anything, over 15 years, we've changed considerably. That school was a very small school. We have become a school of over 600 kids strong, serving preschool all the way to 8th grade. So 3-year-olds all the way up to 14 and sometimes 15-year-olds all in the same big, beautiful building. And so we need to do some work on what it is that we do now, who we are, and how we're going to get there. So we can really make sure that all of our arrows are pointing in the right direction. And like I say, it provides sort of a North Star for us to really work together for something bigger than just an individual. As a community, that's what we work on together. So we know that we can't do that work unless we have the voices of our families, our students, our staff, our previous staff, our community. And so I just want to put that out that your staff is going to be working on this over the next 6-8 weeks. The admin team's already done some work on this, as we've talked about what does classroom excellence look like at South Shore. And that doesn't just mean in first grade or fifth grade. It means across all grade levels, across all content areas. So we want to invite families to get involved, and I'll be following up with a email on how you can get involved either through some meetings or just give us some feedback on what you think, because we want to make sure that your voice is included in that. So that's really exciting. I've got some updates on staffing. Even with the closure, things are still rolling forward as far as budgets and planning and also hiring. And so we don't have a lot of changes, which is good. South Shore has been really stable as far as staffing in the last couple of years, and that feels really good. It's really nice to see familiar faces and know who's teaching what grade and that sort of stuff. So we have a couple shifts though. We do have a loss. Miss Jovita has taken a position at Dunlap teaching elementary school instead of pre-K. And that's something that she'd been wanting to do, is get to work with a little older kids. Unfortunately, South Shore didn't have some of those openings. So she's going to just go across the field and serve Dunlap over there for next year. The great part about that, though, is that we were able to hire Miss Dupaya as our pre-K teacher. And Miss Dupaya has been in pre-K for a long time. She's an amazing educator. And we were really lucky to be able to figure out a way to get her on board to make her our teacher in pre-K. So you know her, she knows you. And so that's a really huge piece for us to keep that together. In addition, Mr. O'Connor is leaving the classroom. He is not going anywhere. He's going to be working as a instructional coach for us, serving our littles up to about second grade, as well as he is flexing his muscles a little bit to see what it looks like on the other side, as far as supporting teachers and having that impact of just being an amazing classroom teacher and supporting teachers so we can all get better together. So we were really excited to see that. He'll be working with Miss Wilson and another classified staff to have a really strong early learning team that's going to be able to provide some coaching for teachers, also some small group work. So we're really excited to have him spread his wings at South Shore, where we all know and love, and see the impact that he's had over all these years. And so you won't see him in kindergarten classroom officially. It won't be his, but he will still be around, and he'll still be supporting all of those teachers on the early learning side. And that was brought on as well by, we do have two coaches. We have a math coach and a literacy coach, but we asked them to spread themselves very thin. They serve kindergarten all the way through 8th grade. And so sometimes teachers aren't able to get as much as they need. So we were really excited to talk to him and work out a plan and a budget to get him out of the classroom and support the early learners as well. So that's a big one for us as well. The other one is Miss Drown is leaving the classroom as well, but she will be our new technology specialist. And so it's really been a great opportunity, I think, as we're all trying to figure out this technology together and what does remote learning look like, and trying to figure out, if you're like me, figuring out Teams and Seesaw and Schoology and all these different things. I think it's very good timing to know that we're going to have someone on staff who's not only going to be working with our staff, but also with our kids. So that would be in addition to PE, music, library, and art. So our kids would be rotating through to receive support on technology. And that can look like coding, that can look like different sorts of programming that happens on computers. We do have 3 computer labs at South Shore, and so we're really going to liven those up and have someone who's really going to work with us on getting all of our technology up to date, knowing that a lot of students now have laptops in elementary, and all of our middle school students will be going to one-to-one if they haven't already. So a lot of laptops and a lot of technology needs at South Shore. And if there's nothing else I know about from this closure, it's that we all need a little more support on our technology. And that's what we have right now. So I said, like, not a lot of movement currently, and the movement we have is a movement from within. We're, one of the things that we've been working really hard on at South Shore over the last 5 years is building capacity within our school, building teachers up, whether they're classified, and getting them into programs like Miss Charisse and Mr. Jeremy, getting them in places so that we can hire them on as teachers. Miss Vester was an IA, Mr. Woods was an IA, and we were able to support them in their journey to become certified teachers, then hire them right where they want to be. And we know at South Shore, when you are part of our community and you love what you do and you love where you work, we want to keep you. And so we have been doing a really good job of making sure that we keep our own folks here, and we grow our own leaders within South Shore. And for our middle school folks, Mr. G is moving up the street to Graham Hill. He, for the last couple of years, he's split between South Shore and Rainier View. So he was half-time at both schools, which is hard, particularly in a counseling setting, because we can't ask that all of the drama and all of the supports happen on the day he's at school. Most of the time it happens when he's not at school. So he was able to get a full-time social worker position at Graham Hill, so just up the street, still supporting our Southeast community. And we have Miss Trong, who is from Rainier Beach, coming over as our full-time middle school counselor. So that's a really great opportunity for us to, continue to support our community, have a full-time counselor at the middle school, which we know that we need. We have 200 students in middle school. And so we're really excited to have her join us from just across the street as well. Summer. So we are doing our Camp 98118 for one last summer. This is a grant that I worked on, I want to say 4 years ago, with the second principal, I don't remember. But we got a grant through the city to run summer programming. Miss Kia and Miss Want have been doing all the legwork on that. It will be mostly remote. We are working to see if we can't get at least 1 or 2 days of some individual instruction, most likely be outside, out in the play area, but we're working on that. We have identified students who we've worked with and families we've worked with previously to reach out to them. So if you have questions about that, please reach out. We have a capacity for around 100 students, and we can maybe get an update from Kia on where we are with that. So that'll be happening this summer. For our rising 7th grade boys, we will continue our partnership with ACE, and that is targeting our African-American males going into 8th grade. And they'll be doing a sort of hybrid version as well, where they'll be doing mostly remote learning, continuing the work that they've been doing this school year, but also finding some times to be outside together, following social distancing guidelines. And that's a very targeted group. They only serve about 20 students. But if you have a young man who is going into 8th grade and you haven't heard from us, let us know. We'd love to support you. A third option is our Freedom Schools WABLOC. And our own Miss Shelby is running that again for us, and that will be a remote platform as well this summer. They have started with families and students they've served in the past. That's who they've reached out already to. So I'm not sure about any additional space that they may have, but certainly if you're interested, let me know, and we can connect you with Miss Shelby. Camp 98118 is for students going into 1st through 5th grade. Um, and summer and wall block, I believe, is the same, 1st through 5th grade. The final option is summer staircase, and summer staircase is the summer programming that the district provides. They do it every year, different schools. We had it 1 year, or we combined 1 year with summer staircase until Emerson got their feet under them a little more, and it's back this year. But this year it's open to all students in Seattle. It's going to be all remote. They're going to do 25 lessons a week that they're going to post. They will be recorded, and they will be able to engage in that. Very similar to what a lot of your teachers are doing, where they're posting lessons during the week, and you can engage with it that way. And so that's for the first time open to everyone across all 50,000 students in Seattle. And so you should have received probably one of many emails from the district with some information about that, but we can certainly get that back out to you to make sure that folks that want to have some sort of summer programming for their children have an opportunity to do that. And that runs all the way through high school. So if you have students in high school, they also have opportunities. They're definitely putting more focus on credit retrieval and students who are not passing classes when school's closed to make sure that they get their credits up. But there's certainly opportunities for any and all kids to get into summer programming. So maybe, Nicole, we should jump to some questions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that sounds good. I actually have one that just came in. Let me find it here. Okay, so about the new technology rotation for kids, whether it's going to be focused on getting all kids, included girls, excited and interested about tech.
Yeah. And so details are still kind of gray as far as like what does that look like as far as planning for what we would typically do for our specialists, meaning that if you have a 2nd grade student, typically they've gone to PE for a week, physical education, they go to art for a week, they go to music for a week, and then we rotate back through. So the idea would be to have technology be one of those rotations. So they would go for a week to technology, to art, to music, to PE. We may even be looking at, swapping so they could go every 4 days or so. But I think the big thing that's sort of up in the air is, what does that look like? A lot of what I'm hearing from other places is that if we do go back, physically, whatever that looks like, the kids for the most stay put and people rotate to them. So you're not mixing kids, 600 kids through the same spaces. But I don't have a lot more information on that. But the idea around the technology piece is that we're going to start giving kids experience and instruction on how to utilize technology so that they can engage in their learning. I think that we've kind of crossed a place here where there is going to be a lot more hybrid sort of learning options available. And if you are like me as far as technology, it seems like my kids pick it up a lot faster than I do. And they're able to navigate things that I don't even know how they do it. And so they're going to have some real good instruction on how to do that. So maybe they can help us out as well.
Cool. All right. So Ashley's asking if the summer programs are being planned for on-site or if they're going to be remote as well.
Yeah. So they're most of them are planning remote. We are hoping that we can get together, like I said, maybe once or twice a week as small groups to kind of follow up on some of the instruction we've done remote. But we're waiting for additional guidance from the city and the district on what that would look like. But I would say all of our programming is looking to be mostly remote this summer.
Awesome. All right, so let's see. Wondering, do we know what school learning will look like for next year yet?
Honestly, we don't. And I know there's a huge task force statewide that I know several principals from Seattle are involved in, as well as district officials. I know superintendents across the state are meeting probably once or twice a week about what that looks like. And I think it's just going to be really hard for us to sort of wrap around all of the logistical pieces that are going to have to be in place for us to do this safely. First thing that kind of comes to mind to me is, transportation. We got full school buses that bring a lot of our kids to school. There's just a lot of moving parts that I know folks in every district are trying to figure out. I don't have an answer right now. I do believe the district is trying really hard to give us some sort of guidance by the time we're done with school, June 19th. So we're gonna keep you posted. I feel like it changes every week as far as new information coming, but what I try to do is I try to engage in the superintendent's town hall meetings that she does, I believe every Tuesday on Facebook. She does about 30 minutes there where she talks a little bit about that, and I get an idea of where what she's thinking. But at this point, I don't have any information, or at least any solid information on what September is going to look like. I think that's the elephant in the room that every family is wondering about, including every staff member, teacher in Seattle as well.
So another question for next year. Which I'm just going to read it off of
the
text message I got, but possible learning options for next fall. Are there measures being considered for fall or whenever in-person classrooms resume for dealing with differing levels within the classroom? For instance, getting parents involved or additional staff?
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely thinking about how we're gonna support students. I think at least what I'm reading about as far as like what other countries are doing or what recommendations are, it sounds like they're going to really limit the amount of adults that come into schools for the near future, and for obvious sort of reasons. But that's one of the big reasons, even with Mr. O'Connor coming out of the classroom, is providing additional supports within our school to get students moving in small group work. We know that families have been able to engage with remote learning with various degrees of success over the last 10 weeks or so. And like many families, a lot of parents or caregivers are still working full-time from their house and also expected to be teaching their kids, which I'll just say from my personal experience has been really challenging. Trying to keep a kindergartner and a second grader going for a couple hours a day while I'm on Zoom meetings and trying to work. It's been challenging, and I know that a lot of parents that I've talked to are feeling the same way around. It's been really, really hard. Most of us did not go to school to become teachers. And so trying to figure out how to do that at your house has been a huge lift. But we certainly are taking into all consideration, like what the needs will be as we get back. Your team at South Shore has been talking about that since pretty much the day we left in March, about what it's going to look like when we come back. How are we going to do all these things? So know that we're really working and planning on how to do this to the best of our ability. And we're leaning on our district to give us some guidance as far as our sort of concrete next steps with this as well.
All right. So, and I think we might end up jumping around from topics.
That's fine.
I want to make sure I don't miss anybody's thing.
Glad we got questions.
Yeah. So family resources is the topic, and it says, "Hi, Mr. H. We're having trouble with Schoology and haven't been able to get technical help. Can't see our or submit assignments for our fourth grader. We tried technical support and even middle/high school helpline, but no luck. Any suggestions?"
Yeah, I think maybe we could connect you with Mr. E, our librarian, and Miss Drown. I know that we have some teachers who've been able to just like get on FaceTime with you and kind of walk you right through that. But certainly, if you shoot me an email, like I would be happy to connect you and let's figure this out. Yeah, we want to make sure we're eliminating whatever barriers. And I know there are a lot of barriers with some of the platforms and jumping in between, particularly if you have students in different grade levels.
So one about unreturned books being borrowed, probably from the library before school.
Yes. Yes.
What will happen with fines, and how can the scholars return it to the library? What will happen to students' boom fines during this time? Fines are accumulating, so how can the books be returned?
Yeah, and I would say fines. We're not going to do anything about fines. Everyone's got library books at their house that they haven't been able to return, so don't worry about those at all. We will have an opportunity, and I forgot to mention this, but I believe it's about 2 weeks. I'm getting the final details. I'll have them by Monday from the district, where teachers are gonna go in and actually clean their classrooms out. So all of your kids' stuff that's still in the cubbies, those winter coats that were still there, all the pencils that are in their desks. If you have a middle schooler, their lockers. So we are going to go in and we are going to bag up every student's stuff, and we're going to provide an opportunity for families to come by and grab their materials that they left at school. But also that'll be an opportunity for them to drop off any books they have, as well as if they have any of those beautiful recorders or any other musical instruments that folks have borrowed from the district, so they can take those back and get those things sanitized and accounted for the summer, so we can hopefully redeploy them next year. So that will be coming out. I'll get that out to community, I'm guessing by like Tuesday of next week, with details on how to return that, and also come and get the stuff that was left at the building, including if there's any
yeah.
I was going to say, including if there's any other medication that Nurse Ann has as well. But please don't worry about the fines. We're going to just take care of those. That is not going to be a problem.
All right, so assuming that the pandemic will last through the rest of 2020 and into much of 2021, and as such, there will likely be another round of school closures again in the late fall/winter. What are the school's plans for preparing for another long closure? And what options do parents/families have to opt out of sending their children to school again in the fall in order to minimize exposure? And particularly, I guess, like piggybacking a little bit off that question, with South Shore being an option school,
Mm-hmm.
if families don't feel safe, will they have to unenroll in South Shore and then re-enroll?
Right. Yep. And I don't have the answer to that, but I certainly will bring that one up. My gut feeling is that they're gonna, just like they did even before we shut down, when families said, hey, we have someone at our house who's immunocompromised, or my student, I'm just worried about putting my student at risk. We excuse those absences. I would imagine it's going to be a very similar policy stepping into fall with that as well. And I do know that the district is doing a ton of planning on a daily basis of what this is going to look like. I do know they sent out a survey to all families in the last week or two as far as your experience with remote learning. How has that been going? Feedback as they're trying to sort of get all their ducks in a row and get all the information they can to hopefully make a very sound decision around what this will look like in September, or in the event of additional closures. I know they've also sent out surveys to staff, trying to figure out, how many staff are in that risk category as well, because there's a lot of staff who would have to opt out as well. And so there's a lot of different factors in there. But at this moment, as of Friday, NMA, I don't have any exact answers for that, but I can certainly bring that up to folks and see if we can't get some. And I do believe their intention is to have this out for all community by the time we leave school on the 19th, so folks can make some family decisions as well.
A question around graduations.
Yes.
Do we plan to do anything for the 8th grade graduations, like is drive-up graduation an option?
Yeah, so we are the middle school team is planning, and that will be, details will be out for our promotions for those coming up, and that was an option that they're discussing. I also know that some I think we got different options, so you'll get information on that by probably middle of next week as far as what that's going to look like. But certainly there was a talk of drive-through graduation pieces. There's been talk of a Zoom graduation. So lots of different options. I know Miss Yarbrough is just mentioning that they are meeting again today, the middle school team, about what that looks like. So you can expect some more solid information in the next couple of days about that.
Okay, cool. I was like, so just so you guys know, I was reading off my text message
There you go.
survey, and now I'm looking through the chat to make sure.
Yes.
So
And fifth grade as well. Fifth grade as well. Yes, absolutely fifth grade. And we're talking to kindergarten as well.
Will remote learning, specifically for younger kids, i.e. first grade and second grade, be pre-recorded or interactive, as far as you know?
I think my guess is that if we do end up going remote to start the year, that there's going to be some shifts in how that's done. I feel like we were reactive this time. We didn't necessarily see it coming. And so there was a lot of gray area in what was being asked of teachers. We all had to make a huge 180 sort of shift to say, okay, now what we've been doing in the classroom for years, now we got to try to replicate that across the computer. And it's been challenging, I think, for everyone. But I do know that the union, Seattle Education Association, is bargaining sort of all summer. I believe it's already started. And my feeling is that if we were to go remote to start the year, that there would be a lot more clarity around expectations for teachers and staff around to say, hey, this is going to be, you're going to be required to do, a daily live lesson, but there will also be some recorded lessons as well. I feel like they can be a little more proactive this time because we know what's coming. And so my hunch would absolutely be that it would probably be a mix of those, but it would probably be more, there would be more live options for families and students to engage in, because we've been doing this for a little bit now. Yeah.
Do we know if we'll be able to access the students' Schoology folders after the last day of school?
That's a question that I don't have an answer to yet, but I sure hope so. I know Sarah had asked about that yesterday, and I haven't got an answer yet. But my guess is that, yes, we should be able to, and I'm going to advocate for that. I don't see why they would have to wipe them out, but I will get an answer to the Schoology folders.
Curious when teacher assignments for next year will be shared.
That's a good question. So we are working on doing class lists in these next couple weeks. So most likely they'll be shared when we typically do, which is around that end of August. We've always kind of shot for our back to school barbecue time as the time to kind of reveal those. So I don't see that changing a whole lot. But you may get it a little differently this year. In the past, we've had our tables kind of set up with balloons, and folks go over to the tables for the grade level, and they look at their class list, meet their teachers that way. So we are really trying to wrap our heads around what would that look like if we're not able to physically do that. I know teachers are certainly thinking a lot about, if we are to start remote, how do I build classroom culture when I can't physically be there and meet students and meet families? But if there's one thing I do know about South Shore and know about our staff, is that we will figure that out, and we will make sure that you feel like you are a part of that classroom community, even if we can't be physically together to start the year. That our teachers are absolutely dedicated to making those connections with not only your student but with you as a family, to make sure you feel like you're at home and that you're a part of a larger family here. So you will be getting more information as we kind of figure out what the district is doing as far as those plans. But I would say look for those towards the end of August as well, knowing also that this is the first year I can remember in many years working for schools that we will be starting before Labor Day as well. We've always started after Labor Day, and so it's an early start for us this year as well. So make sure that's on your calendar too.
For student emails and password, sorry. Who should people get in touch with if they need help getting that set up or troubleshooting?
If they shout it to me, I can certainly route it in the right direction. I know that they were just launching those this week, so there's probably some bugs in all of that as they're trying to get 52,000 kids email addresses and those sorts of things. But if you are having challenges with that or any technology pieces, let your admin team know. We will support you in that, whether that's connecting you with a teacher who has been really successful at that, or problem solving with our tech folks to connect you. But let me know and I can help you. We don't want that to be a barrier.
Do we expect more new concepts to be taught next year, even if all learning is remote? For instance, my daughter did not learn decimals this year, even though it is standard 4th grade curriculum.
Yeah. Yes, we will. And I think that's been a challenge everywhere, as far as, how much further do we move ahead in the standards for a certain grade level, knowing that, there's a lot of kids who haven't been engaged. And so do we just continuously move forward, leaving kids behind, or do we wait? And what we know is that we can't wait. We have to continue to move forward while we're also trying to re-engage or engage students that have not been able to engage currently. But there will be new concepts going. And then a big part of what South Shore is working on, as well as every other school, is how do we assess when we get back to school what we've learned, as well as areas that we need to reteach or just teach, knowing that there are certainly, when we think about mid-March to June, like there's a lot of lost learning time that we've had in that time, where typically for a lot of classes, we were at a point in mid-March where everything was starting to come together and we're ready to just really put the foot on the gas as far as instruction, and then the whole rug got pulled out from under us. But that is absolutely a consideration. And so what you'll see moving forward is, I feel like, just and our teachers are really good at this already, but differentiation within a classroom. So a lot of small group work. We'll rely on our city year partnerships and our coaches to really help build capacity within the classroom to serve students who are in the same grade but have different needs for their skills that they are working on.
Are there any end of year plans as a school to say goodbye for the summer to students, like video compilation from the teachers or something like that? I'm thinking of something that boosts the school unity even when we're apart.
Yes, we are in the works of that, and Ms. Vester's helping us think about what we could do as sort of a virtual sort of end of year assembly, whether that's on Zoom or whether that's one of those videos that you've seen where we're all your staff are holding up a sign or a message and getting that out as well. But absolutely, we're thinking about that. And there will be some more information coming up in the next week or so about what that's going to look like, to make sure that everyone who wants to participate is able to participate, and you're able to, see all of your staff, at least virtually, before we close out the year. Absolutely.
Will there be yearbooks this year?
And there are yearbooks this year. Yes, absolutely. And so Miss Finale on the middle school side has really been working hard to put a yearbook together. It will definitely be one for the to hold on the shelf for a year that is not to be forgotten. And that will be coming out as well. So you'll see some information if you've already pre-ordered that. You're still good, but we'll have some other opportunities, because typically this is that time of year where we kind of go classroom to classroom to sell additional yearbooks and that sort of thing. So keep your eyes open for more information about the yearbook. But yes, we do have a yearbook coming out.
Let's see. So I think so. Anna's wondering, and I'm pretty sure this is in regards to yearbooks. Yeah. So did families receive a link to do a survey about that? So I think there was a link that was sent around. Maybe if you just want to touch on that, or Anna, if you want to jump on and give information.
I'm just wondering if folks got it, because I know that it was intended to go out, but I'm not sure how successfully it got out. Miss Finale sent a kind of like a little survey monkey type thing about kids' experiences to help build some information about learning during COVID. I see Sasha saying yes. Okay, good.
Yeah, I got it as well. All right.
And we can certainly resend that though, because if you're like everyone I've talked to, like there have been a lot of emails from school and district and a lot of information, and sometimes some of that gets lost. So we can resend that and make sure it's very big and bold, so it'll stand out in your inbox, so we can get a little more information back from families on that for sure.
There was a question about what time the barbecue usually is. I see it was answered in the chat that it's late. It's usually late August.
Late August, yeah.
Like a week or two before school starts.
Yes.
Is there a date set yet for the 8th grade virtual graduation? And will students be getting a certificate?
Yes, they'll get a certificate, and we don't have the exact date set on the 8th grade promotion yet, but I know the team is meeting again today, so that information will come out at the latest midweek next week.
Nurse Ann would like to highlight that the school nurse is always available on email for health questions, especially when all the students have their own email. So the students, and do you want to, do you mean that students could email about questions to you?
Sure.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of thrilled that I can do a little bit more direct to them too on certain things. So that's good.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And so if families have questions and like about students' health, though, they can email you. Do you want to put your email in the chat so people can just have it who are in the meeting or can look at it later? Does that work? Or where should they look to find your email?
Well, it's on the information page for the website for the school, I think, and because I put my both my cell phone and my telephone number for voicemail, and the email that I'll get as well.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. Is report cards available to print online, or are they going to be sent out?
So report cards are on the source now. So the second trimester for elementary has been posted to the source. That was another email that came out for the from the district, but we can certainly resend that with the information on how to access that. And my guess is that the next report card will be in the same way. Typically, what happens with report cards is we print them off at the school, and the office staff gets 600 of them, and they go old school on them, and they fold them up, and we put them in envelopes and we send them home. And right now that's not going to happen. So they've been uploaded to the source, which is yet another way to kind of engage with that. But we can certainly make sure that that information gets resent so that you can look at the report card from the second trimester. And then when our progress report for the third trimester comes out, you'll be able to access that as well.
Do you know yet who is going to be replacing Ms. Drown in 5th grade?
We don't yet. Actually, they're doing some more hiring just today.
Is there any moving up recognition for students being promoted into higher grades? So I think that would be 8th.
Yeah, so typically the ones that we tend to make a little bit bigger and bolder are kindergarten. I know pre-K does something, 5th grade and 8th grade, but certainly I know that grade level teams are talking about how to do sort of a virtual class party for all grade levels. So we will make sure that your teachers or your grade level team members get that information out as well, because they certainly want to make sure that kids are able to get together, even if it is across Zoom or whatever it is. And I know that teachers are getting pretty clever as far as how to do those celebrations. I was invited to a third grade movie watching party. I think it was last Friday as well. So they're going to figure out how to make sure that we don't just kind of sail off into summer without any sort of closure with this as well, even though the closure is going to look a whole lot different than it has ever.
So I think for me, it looks like I got all of the questions in the chat. So I want to open it up now if anybody has any other questions, or if you want to raise your hand or shake the screen or something, or just pop on and ask a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unmute yourself. Yeah. Anna wants to give a shout out to Miss Trapp, who hosted a movie last night.
Yay, Miss Trapp. And thanks, Nicole, for moderating. I know we were a little bit nervous trying to do this today, but I think it's working out pretty well, and it's good to see some folks for sure.
Yeah, it's my first time hosting a Zoom meeting, you guys. So
we wouldn't know.
I was like, I don't know.
You did great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a question. We've had different, because I have more than one kid, I've seen how different the teachers can approach the weekly assignments and how they can organize them and make them easy for the kids to go through. I've had a lot of success on my own, taking what was sent home, then reorganizing it, embedding links, going one after the other to provide some autonomy for them. And I'm wondering, you mentioned earlier that the district will, we were reactive this year and we're hoping to be a little bit more proactive if we go to remote. But I'm wondering, do you think that the way they send the homework home could change? I think that's a really important part of it.
Yeah, I do. I know that we actually had a lot of conversations as a staff on how to do that. And I know that, there were some teachers who put it all on Sunday night. There were some who wanted to put some on Sunday and then add some more on Wednesday. There were others, like I know the kindergarten team was doing sort of daily lessons around reading, writing, and math. And then they got feedback from families to say, hey, that's been a lot. Why don't we, skinny it back to a couple days a week? But Miss Elizabeth, I do believe that they, if the decision by the district and the state is that we are going to start remote, that there will be a lot more guidance on what that's going to look like. And it's going to be more uniform across all grade levels and all schools, because it has to be, because I'm right there with you. I mean, it's been, I think it's been challenging for everyone, particularly if you have students in different grade levels, to say, well, this grade level is doing it this way. This grade level is doing it a different way. They're using Teams. They're using Zoom. It's been a lot. And so the other part that I think will, and I know will come out of it, is they're going to be asking schools and the district to adopt a certain platform as well, so that as a parent, you don't have to learn 4 different platforms. I know pre-K for next year has already adopted Seesaw, and that's something that the kindergarten team's been using for a while, and I really like it. It's pretty easy. And so there's definitely been conversation district-wide about the district purchasing licenses for everyone on Seesaw for elementary, because the Teams has not been very user-friendly for our little kids. Certainly in middle school and high school, it looks a little different. It's more aligned to what they're doing. But I think it's been a huge lift. And I guess I say that to say, yes, there will be a lot more guidance and a lot more uniformity. So families, if you're like us, we're looking at Sunday night, we're trying to plan some things out for the week. And we know that, hey, we'll have this all here on these days. But I do think it will probably be a blend of sort of synchronous, meaning that, hey, there will be these set times that there'll be either live lessons or the teacher will be there to do office hours and supports, but also some opportunities to access recorded lessons so that you can do it when it fits your schedule as well.
Yeah, that was another thing too, was the recordings from the district, where there was one way you approached them and then you could see them chronologically. But if you just went through YouTube, you're like, I don't know, did we see this one already?
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
So, yes.
And I feel pretty technical, and I was like,
it's been a challenge. It has absolutely been a challenge for all of us. And like I said, most of us did not go to school to become teachers. And even those of us who did to go to school to become teachers, it's been really challenging.
Yeah, yeah. And so you mentioned that there's going to be, led by the district, some sort of assessment to see, okay, obviously this kid didn't pick this up, but they, you know, advanced in the reading because they had all the time in the world. I'm very, very interested about that because I feel like we have been, you know, doing our best here, and I'm hoping we don't go backwards. We get to pick up where we left off.
Yep. And you're spot on. I mean, at least the research that I've seen that they've been giving to us is that the reading and the literacy, particularly for kids who are already reading, the slide isn't nearly as much as it is in math, which makes a lot of sense because I think a lot of us are at an age that our students' math work looks a whole lot different than it did when we were in school. And,
I can't help. I cannot help.
Yes. And then we end up in that sort of battle with our children. I'm like, well, I know this way works. And they're like, well, that's not how I was taught. I was taught this way. And it becomes frustrating. So I think math is definitely an area that we're really going to need to dig into because it's so different than how so many of us experience math as kids.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see Heidi has her hand raised. Heidi.
Hello. First off, Justin and all the staff on here, thank you, because I know you guys are working very, very hard. And you're right. I did not come to school, or I did not go to school to become a teacher. Not very good at it. I had a question in regards to if we continue in this path of at-home learning and maybe guiding parents on safety controls for the computer.
Yeah.
We do YouTube, and our kids have not been exposed to much technology, and so we quickly had to batten down the hatches, but they're not really battened down.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if there's any guidance that could be given to parents about parental controls for some of that stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I don't think so. I know so. And I know that I've already been talking to some other principals about basically what a couple schools have tried is some parent meetings discussing exactly that, getting someone who is really adept at technology and just helping us folks who maybe aren't as adept at some of the technology to learn some of the little advanced options and features so that we can make sure our kids are safe when they're online on the computer. And I can trust that, you know, if they're engaged in a lesson, that I can actually be sitting at the table doing what I need to do without something popping up on their screen that they shouldn't be exposed to. But absolutely, Heidi, we're in conversations about how to do that. So you can expect some information to come out, and even over the summer, I'd like to get something together for families that like to engage, so we can at least get that ball rolling, because a lot of us are going to be continuing some sort of learning over the summer anyways, knowing that it feels pretty light in a lot of ways, as far as, you know, we got a couple lessons a day, but it would be nice to keep some of that momentum going. So yes, the answer is yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
And piggybacking, I guess, a little bit off that, Justin, do you know, is YouTube going to be the platform that the district continues to use, or is there another platform? Because I do feel like the autoplay on YouTube, which I know you can turn it off, but it still is like, essentially for me, especially with teaching two kids, right? Like one kid is working over here and one kid's working over there. And yeah, like the safety issues around, like my kid tends to stay on task and do what he's supposed to do, but like I know that some
like,
some
don't.
Might get into things on YouTube, and you can find a lot of like stuff on
YouTube. Absolutely you can. And kids are really good at that. And yes, that has been part of the conversation. I think one of the reasons that a lot of folks jumped to YouTube, at least initially, was that everyone's familiar with it, and kids are really good at getting on there. And so it seemed like an easy sort of fit. But just like the conversation occurred around Zoom, you know, initially they were telling us at the school level not to use Zoom because it wasn't safe and there were challenges, and then there was a lot of pushback from schools and principals and families around, hey, we know how to use Zoom. There are features that we can use just like we did today to make sure that the platform is more safe and secure, that they kind of backed up and said, we are going to be using Zoom. That is something that we're going to be promoting. I feel like if if the district says YouTube is one of the platforms we're going to continue to use, that there will be some opportunities for us to tighten that up. And you know, and I think there is, you know, kind of like Costco is when the district buys 50,000 licenses or something, they get some extra bells and whistles on some things for buying in bulk. So I think that's where the district is at, is looking at platforms. And I know Seesaw has been brought up as a platform that a lot of folks have found a lot of success with and is user friendly. So I would expect that the district will adopt a sort of official platform for elementary, knowing that they're still going to keep their Microsoft Teams and Schoology pieces. But I do believe that for our younger students, it's been more challenging to do the Schoology than it needs to be. There's been a lot of obstacles, as families are still saying they're struggling with different pieces with that. So yes, they will adopt something, and it will be tighter.
I see Anna has her hand raised.
Yeah, Ashley just made my comment in the chat, but with the Chromebook, I set up a family account for the kids, which gave me a lot of controls, but I have not been able to figure out how to allow them to link into YouTube. So they end up then using my account and logging into Schoology again to be able to access the YouTube links. And if someone has figured that out and could just do like a couple screenshots of what your settings are. I mean, I've spent way too much time on that. I want them to be safe, but it's silly that we like have this false security because then we have to go in another user to access the school's videos. But help, if you know how to do that, please help us.
I will say, Anna, that if you use, you know, an adult non-restricted account to get into YouTube, you can put in restrictions within YouTube if you have a specific login. But we're in the exact same boat. We're fighting over one thing because they can't use their Chromebook. So, but there are restrictions within YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, I was curious if it behooves to set up a YouTube account for the kids, because I'm in the same problem. Every time my kids log on, and we only have one device, so every time they log on, they're seeing all these suggestions come up that is intriguing to a small child that never gets to spend any time. So as I wrote, that we've been secretly checking the history, and that's how we uncovered it all. So I don't have any of the answers, obviously, but I was curious if maybe you can set up a YouTube account that would be specific for your child and then link it in through their Schoology. I don't know.
This feedback is actually really helpful as we start to think about exactly what you were saying, Heidi, is getting some more information out to families about how to, you know, do some of these things. So if you have some challenges, or if you have some expertise, like, we would love to connect with you. And I've definitely been in touch with some folks at Microsoft who are either South Shore families or connected to South Shore, and they've offered some supports as well. So please keep those coming, because that'll help guide the meeting that we can set up as far as, you know, talking through some of these things, for sure.
Well, I got some.
I love seeing the adults, but hi, kids. I just want to say hi to all of you. Miss you guys.
I hear Miss Rabel.
And the adults, yes. Miss you all.
Yes.
Cool. Does anybody else have any other questions, comments,
Anything else?
waves?
I'll just say, going to the YouTube thing again, you know that there's the YouTube for kids tube or whatever. If there's some way you could filter all our school videos that are going out to be allowed within that platform, that would be amazing. I don't know how you do that, but we can access the kids tube, you know, so that is possible through the Chromebooks when it's on the child account.
Okay.
Right, but KidsTube is somehow saying our kids' videos from their teachers aren't secure
Right.
or aren't
So I
safe.
wonder, yeah, if there's some kind of way when they create those videos that the content has some sort of tag that allows, I have no idea. That'd be a YouTube question, obviously, going through their tech support, but that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Another thing with the YouTube, so my daughter's in kindergarten, and so we're using the Seesaw platform, and it's been great. But when you do click on the videos, it does take you to YouTube. So even the Seesaw platform, as it is now, utilizes that tool. And so I don't know if, yeah, I mean, that just a noteworthy observation.
Great. So Justin, I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat saying thanks and that this was great and we should do it again. And I know you were talking about that. Do you have an idea? Do you want to try to do it before?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe about not next week, but the week after could be good because we'll have a lot of dates settled. I think I'll have some more information about summer school. I know I'll get some answers to a couple of these questions around the School G folders. Yeah, why don't we shoot for like 2 weeks from now? Since this was so successful and you've been such a great moderator, let's run it back then so we can connect. And then also, you know, like what we were talking about as well is, you know, figuring out some ways, just like PTSA has sort of shifted meetings this year, even when we were in school, to allow some opportunities for us to do this a little more regularly so more people can engage. And so, you know, we really do want your feedback. We do take the feedback that you give us, good, bad, and ugly, and try to do better by it. So let us know what we're doing well. Let us know some things we need to work on. We are a big school, and so I certainly do miss some things sometimes, but I just want to really encourage everyone that, you know, I am on, I have my work phone that gets emails on me at least 12 hours a day, probably more, I won't admit it, but we do want to get back to you if something comes up or if we can help you and your family in any way. And that not only goes for, you know, technology challenges, which we all have in spades, but also as far as any essential needs or any other ways that we can support individual families, we would love to support you in that. And I know PTSA has done some amazing work in shifting some of the funding that they have typically used for end of year celebrations and things to an essential needs fund for our South Shore families, so that we can support families if there are some things that we can do to, you know, just help folks get by.
Cool. Is it, I don't know exactly how to pronounce your name, but is it Nat Han? Is that right?
Yeah, this is Tuan.
Tuan. Oh, hey, Tuan.
Hey.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
I think that, you know, due to quarantine, we're constantly searching for ideas to for the kids to do at home, to have fun and to be active. And just wondering if we can do this again with tap into that source, like any family with you know, Zoom meeting and having meeting with their students, because kids do need to see their friends at school and kind of relate it together. And also any ideas of active game as well as, you know, mind games when keeping
Mm-hmm.
at home and keeping them moving, because you know, it's quite challenging and it's hard to have kids staying at home most of the time. And so we got to come up with different games to keep them active and keep them having fun. So that's my
Yeah.
kind of idea and questions.
You can.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
Go ahead, Ms. Rabel.
oh no, so I do have a YouTube channel of just Rabel's PE class to do fun fitness activities. But also, if you email me personally, I can go get some. I can get you some stuff that for your kids to do.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'd love to do it.
All right.
Yeah, Ms.
Fantastic.
Rabel's Ms. Rabels have been fun, and I know our girls have been liking Mr. Lambert's music videos as well, jumping around the house as little bunnies and learning about Australia. So I agree, Twan. Like we definitely need it. I think everyone's neighbors get to know them much better as we're walking around the neighborhood, just trying to get some steps. Particularly us at South Shore, walking that school every day, getting 10 to 12,000 steps a day. It's not happening in the same way right now.
Right. Sometimes we have this balloon games in the house, and you just divided it, left and right side, and and then we're trying to kick the balloon without using the hands and things like that.
Right.
We played so many times, but then we need some new games.
Yes. Okay. All right. And we love Ms. Rabels. She's got a surfing video too that we like too.
Cool. Is there a channel that she's putting up there with the South Shore?
Yeah. So if you go to the South Shore website, so if you type in South Shore K8 on our school district website, Miss Wynn and Mr. E have really been working hard to get our all of the teachers' information and videos up there on our website, so you don't have to kind of search through a whole bunch of things. So please check it out. I was on there last night and looking at some of the first grade videos, Miss Prescott's videos, Miss Hunley's videos. So a lot of teachers have different videos up there for you to watch and engage in. We're doing some read alouds as well, so you can hear different staff reading books, but we'll still keep adding to that over the summer as well.
Yeah, I saw that from Miss Wynn, so that's fantastic.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's very resourceful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Tawana, we've also been doing a YouTube video that's called Something with Joe, and it's like a guy from England, I think somewhere, who does these like videos that are focused on like kids it's like a 20-minute exercise video. So yeah, so we've been doing that. Mr. Rabel's giving thumbs up, I see. So we've been doing some of Mr. Rabel stuff and then some of that stuff just to get the kids. And also we did with Rabel, this might be something that could be fun, but like an obstacle course for the kids, where we had them like crab walk and stuff. So if there's good ideas for exercises that are more good for kids to do, that you can set up in your house, like a special obstacle course for them, that also.
Okay. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What was the name of that again, Nicole?
I think it's PE with Joe.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah.
You want to type that up on the message so we can?
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Down?
Oh, I'm sending it just to one person.
Good. I love that we're sharing some resources too. I think this could be a great opportunity for us to share some resources, because I think all of us are doing the same sort of thing and trying to dig through and supplement and keep our kids active and busy. And sometimes we don't need to recreate the wheel. We can just beg, borrow, and steal from each other.
Definitely Kong Academy. Another one is Cosmic Kids Yoga.
Oh yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
My daughter has been doing that.
They're fun.
But I still need new ideas to get out of that comfort zone.
Well, I also personally think you should host a video for us.
I will try to post something else up.
Yeah. But yeah,
All
we
right.
can do something. That'd be fun too. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So I also want to leave space, because I know sometimes it takes a minute to get to the mute button or unmute button. So if anybody else has anything that they want to, any questions or comments that they want to make, hold space for that. Well, I'm giving you time for that. Put in a plug if anybody's interested in being on the PTSA next year. We have obviously no idea what next year is going to look like, but we could use some help. So feel free to reach out. I'll put my email. You can email me if you want to. You're interested in doing. Quick shout out to the first grade team for being amazing and super supportive. And yeah, Carol has to go now, but she's got Dylan with his second breakfast. Yeah. Bye Dylan. Have a good breakfast.
I'll help you in a minute. Okay. Well, I just want to say thanks. It was really great to see everybody this morning. And we will do this again soon. This seems like a great opportunity for us to connect and still, you know, stay safe. And so we just want to.
Yeah, I see the next meeting is scheduled. Yeah, so it would be
The 12th, right? The Friday?
12th of June, 8:30 again, I think.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. Cool.
So have a great Friday. It's beautiful out. Take advantage. Get some fresh air. Take your kids outside, Twan. Let them run around. And just want to say, you know, for everyone in South Shore, we really miss everyone. It's been really hard, I think, on everyone not to be able to see all your faces each and every day. And certainly, I think it's hard because this is that time of year where we've done so much work, and now we get to celebrate and look forward to summer and sort of thing. So it's definitely, you know, very much anticlimactic as we're it looks a lot different, you know. And I think of a couple of our first year teachers this year, and wow, what a year to be a first year teacher. Just thanks for supporting us. Thanks for sticking with us. We will have some more information around all those questions that you have. And it looks like we're on for June 12th at 8:30 to do this again.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, my kids really
Thank you,
meet
everybody.
the teachers and the staff at South Shores, and each time I take them out for a drive, and they look at someone else. Is that Mr. or Mrs.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
Yes. Yes. And we will see you all that week. I think it is the week of the 12th anyway, so you guys can come by school to get your all those like I said, all those winter coats and all those old lunches and lunch boxes that folks left at school since we never got to get back in there. So you'll get a schedule out there, and we'll have all of that bagged up and ready for you, and also an opportunity for you to drop off any library books or anything else that we got to get back to school as well.
Fantastic.
Okay. And thanks, Nicole, again. I appreciate you setting this up and moderating. You did an awesome job.
Yeah, no problem. It was great. I will say that it was Justin's idea, so I'll give credit where credit is at. But yeah,
Good teamwork.
Cool to see everybody.
Good teamwork.
Okay. And yeah, it's great to be able to connect. Yeah. All right. Bye.
Okay.
Y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Hey.
Oh, Fonzie.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. See ya.